Even though boltor has an incarnate form, this rifle just isn't exactly amazing. With the primary crux, which can potentially give a lot of ammo efficiency, and the boltor's first evolution, this rifle has somehow infinite magazine capacity. To be fair, I think this is not an intended feature, and I would bet someone somewhere forgot the bolter already had an ammo efficiency mechanic and forgot to make these two things incompatible. I have high damage standards, and even with infinite amounts of ammo, in my eyes this weapon still sucks. However, I feel some strange satisfaction whenever I use this weapon. This is just one of those feel-good weapons, and I think I actually made a pretty viable build. There are 3 different variations of this weapon, and I had to test 2 of them. There isn't a really good reason why I did this except inhumane amounts of human stupidity. Mine, to be precise.
Why am I not surprised?
This did cost me a couple of trips to the Weary, but at least I can say whether you choose Boltor Prime or Telos Boltor, the difference is not that big. I prefer Telos Boltor because of its unique trait and also because there is no way I am removing and then reapplying the adapter again. The biggest difference between its normal form and incarnate form is extra slash damage in incarnate form. I don't use incarnate form a lot because it interrupts the flow of happy chemicals in my brain. For the second evolution, go with ammo efficiency and extra damage. If you pick this other evolution, there is no way to have infinite magazine capacity. The third evolution is not that important. In here you will find reload speed, magazine size and projectile speed. I don't find projectile speed all that important, but because of infinite magazine, I am barely reloading. By elimination, this is the best choice out of all 3. For the last evolution, I am going with status chance. This leads us to that stupid reason why I chose the Telos version in the end. Initially, I was using Boltor Prime. I saw some random opinions from people on the internet and a lot of them say Boltor Prime is the best choice. I am not gonna argue with that because we all know arguing with random people on the internet is not the best life choice. The thing that bothered me is that Boltor Prime has very low base critical chance. I wasn't happy with this, and when I saw Telos Boltor has higher base critical chance, I thought I would switch to the Telos version and go for more critical chance so I could at least get the orange crits. For your information, on Boltor Prime, the last evolution gives 14% critical chance. Imagine my surprise when I realized that the last evolution on Telos Boltor gives only 6% critical chance. I went with status because 6% critical chance is just not worth it. I still feel pretty stupid because after trying both versions, I honestly don't see that big difference in damage.
You are stupid.
When it comes to modding, I tried out almost every damage combination possible. Viral slash damage, full heat, blast damage, and in the end I decided to sacrifice the most fun aspect of this weapon for corrosive and heat combination. These are the mods I am using. The one thing you can't avoid if you want infinite bullets is primary crux. You can get this arcane after completing the latest Warframe 1999 quest. It takes some effort to farm, but I think it is worth it because at max rank and full stacks it gives 300% status chance and 60% ammo efficiency. It doesn't require a lot of effort to charge and you can pretty much have it active all the time. This is also a very good choice for other weapons, so if you don't have it, you should definitely get it. For the elemental damage mods, I am using 60-60 electricity and toxin, but for the heat I went with flat damage. I don't know how to explain this the best, but if weapon deals higher amounts of heat damage, it is more likely that it will apply heat status. This obviously applies to other types of damage as well. Since there is a limit to corrosive stacks, I want to apply as much heat as possible. When you don't have to worry about magazine size and ammo, one stat that becomes really fun to have is fire rate. Sadly, there isn't any space left to add it directly onto the weapon, so we will have to do it through some other external means. The first way to increase fire rate is to use arcane acceleration on the warframe. This isn't very practical, and whether you use it or not should primarily depend on your warframe. Throughout this video I have been mostly using Revenant. When I am testing out stuff, I like to avoid worrying about afterlife. Luckily, putting this arcane on him is not a big problem. If you don't have suitable warframes for this, don't worry. There are other ways to get fire rate. For example, you can also pick a warframe that can naturally increase weapons' fire rate through their abilities. Some of these warframes are Wisp and Harrow. Here is the build for my Wisp. I wasn't really planning on showing it because this video is about boltor, but I gave it a thought, and why not? Another thing that can give a simple fire rate increase is reinforced bond mod on your companion. If you are already not using this on every companion, you should, because it is basically free fire rate. To get this buff, your companion has to have at least 1200 shields. There are a couple of ways to do this. Most people just use link redirection mod. This directly affects which warframe you will choose, so instead I chose to go with Worm Prime as my companion. This sentinel has the highest base shields out of all companions, and you can push them over the required amount just by using a calculated redirection. This is the full build. I am pretty certain there are some other ways, but you get the idea. Fire rate exists, and it is very good for this rifle. After everything I have been through with boltor, I haven't really changed my mind. This is not the best weapon, but it is also not the worst.
I thought it was just average.
Even though this weapon doesn't really one-shot everything, there is still some weird feeling of joy when I see all of these groups of coded numbers running to be permanently uninstalled. Also, I am afraid that this infinite magazine is just a bug. It might take a couple of years, but like all bugs, it will eventually be fixed. I think I went on for long enough. Enjoy the rest of your life and let me know what do you think about this.